Welcome back, Soulful Society, to Soulful of Wellness,
the multi-generational podcast brought to you by two functional imperfectionists
and certified coaches
who deliver tips to live your most authentic and balanced life.
Today, we're talking about mind-body connection and the physical signs our bodies use to get our attention. We'll talk about some of the common signals, about escalation, and about our personal experiences trying to ignore or power through, and what happens when we've disregarded for too long. Then we'll give you 5 simple tools to use when your body tells you that stress and anxiety levels are rising.
Thanks for joining us again this week as we break down the mind-body connection and embark on a mental detox. Please take a minute to follow, rate, and review Soulful of Wellness on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening today, so you never miss a week of wellness goodness. Writing a review is a great way to let us know what you're enjoying and what you'd like to hear more about.
We love getting feedback and suggestions, so please write a review or send us a quick email or DM us on Instagram, like Carol Loves Paper did. She commented on our recent video upload on our Instagram, celebrating 10,000 downloads.
Woo!
Woohoo! And she said, quote, "I appreciate all the wonderful insight and knowledge base you guys give so many of us that help us better ourselves and improve our lives." Butterfly emoji.
Love that. Thank you. And that's at Carol, K-A-R-Y-L, Loves Paper. Check out her beautiful vintage craft work. Carol, when we get to the part of the episode where we say having a creative outlet is helpful, you're going to really identify with that.
Yes, we so appreciate you, and we are so excited that we have you as a part of the Soulful Society.
Now we launch into the mind-body connection.
This is so prevalent. I feel like this is always relevant.
Always.
Prevalent and relevant.
Mind-body connection is the belief that the causes, development, and outcomes of physical illness are determined from the interaction of psychological, social, and biological factors.
Okay, let's break that down.
Let's.
Our body is always communicating with us. And that's the moral of the story, right? And so it's our job as the spirit and the soul that we are to pay attention to our body in order to gain clues about our current emotional well-being.
Your body is not nudging you. It's not like a younger sibling who just wants attention when you can least afford to be distracted. When your body's telling you things, they're things you need to know. There's a reason. And when you ignore, your body amps it up.
Mm-hmm.
It goes somewhere. Not that you're going to like.
Not pleasant. And I'm all too familiar with that.
Mm-hmm.
All too familiar.
So we're here to talk about some of the earlier signs before your body has escalated things, because the earlier you can get on it, the easier it's going to be to fix what needs fixing.
Yes. And I urge you to put some intentionality behind this. I invite you to do so. Just speaking from my experience that I don't want anyone else to go through. It was painful. It was frustrating. It was awful. So I ignored my body's signals for so long. And I finally am able to gain compassion about myself, around myself for it. But I really encourage you, because it got to a point that was way too far. I was hospitalized multiple times. I was living in fear constantly in my body, and I didn't have a symbiotic relationship. We were fighting each other.
No, you had quite an antagonistic relationship, yet you were quite literally occupying the same space.
Yes. And even today, I had an appointment with my functional nutritionist, And we talked about this idea of talking to my body, like not placing blame when I have a flare up. And it was really insightful to hear her as a professional nutritionist give the advice of, talking to your body in a friendly way and not blaming them. And really, divine timing. She was saying your body will show you what's mentally wrong.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what we're talking about.
It's the ultimate, we're on the same team here, guys.
Exactly.
If you think maybe there really isn't this mind-body connection where physical manifestations of sensory input you're getting from the world, think about the last time somebody told you a story or anecdote and you got goosebumps.
Mm-hmm.
That was your body showing a physical outward sign of what you were hearing. Or if you get butterflies in your stomach when you're really excited or maybe nervous about something, that's all illustrating the mind-body connection.
When you get a stomach ache when you're worried, another example of the mind-body connection. The skin is, right, your outermost layer. It's a protective organ. It's the largest organ. I would say in our bodies, but it's on our, I don't know. It's the largest organ we have. And that is a huge indicator. It's really something going on inside.
Which is completely logical if you think about your skin being the only barrier between internal you and external world. It's the final barrier holding what's in and keeping what's out.
But I do want to say here, like, we got to greet ourselves with compassion and treat our bodies kindly and ask our body, okay, what is it you're trying to tell me? Because a lot of the times we can get really upset with acne or rashes. I get really scared when I get rashes on my body. So I've been working to sort of redo that self-talk a little bit.
And calm it all down because obviously your body's showing you it's worked up about something. So if you get worked up in response, now you've just got this vicious cycle. Somebody in there needs to say, oh, deep breath. We all need to slow it down for a moment.
It's just like when you see people with rosacea getting really flushed when they're nervous or embarrassed. It's the skin is going to tell you, how you're feeling.
Your health is obviously impacted by the big life stressors. When something really unfortunate or unpredicted or unprecedented happens in your life, but it's also impacted by the daily, we're calling them micro stressors. Just normal life bullshit, to put it really bluntly, like rush hour traffic or meeting unrealistic deadlines or having unrealistic expectations for yourself or defining success in ways that doom you to not have success. I could go on and on.
I think about the workplace a lot too, like micro stressors. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people back when I was in sales, people used to try and bring everyone back down to earth by reminding them, we are not heart surgeons here, everybody. Like, we are recruiting IT people. Like, relax. So perspective, we'll get into that, in our tools is a huge helpful tool. But even little things at work, like an email that was sent to you or someone being rude to you, like these micro stressors add up and become big.
On the one hand, if it's helpful to tell yourself, this is not a big deal, this is not worth the anxiety it's creating in me, if that's helpful, go that route. If you tend to go the flip side where you're beating yourself up about being upset about something so small, then cut yourself some slack and say, yes, this one is small, but there are dozens and dozens of small. When they all get together, they're no longer small.
Exactly.
Your body is very smart and very concerned with self-protection. Unfortunately, it doesn't always have the best mechanisms for carrying out self-protection. So memories are stored at the cellular level. And that's a level, I don't know exactly how it works, I'll be honest, but it's somewhere below subconscious. It's like this really deep level where when your body recognizes things, even before your conscious mind recognizes them, your body's like, oh, wait, I've seen this before. Didn't like it then. Don't like it now. I got this one. I'm going to deal with this. And that's when it starts to freak out. And meanwhile, your conscious mind hasn't even caught up yet. And you're going, whoa, what is going on with me? Why am I itching everywhere? What the heck?
It's like a delayed reaction, like what we were talking about earlier today, Kit. I had a stressful weekend. The same can be true for you if you've had a triggering day, weekend event, something that's happened that's a little bit traumatic and tough to deal with, and you get back into normal life and the normal groove, and then all of a sudden you realize my physicality, it's not feeling right. Like I'm not feeling good. It's like your body hasn't caught up yet, or it's like you haven't done that processing and that treating yourself with self-care enough.
The conscious mind hasn't pieced the dots together yet.
Yeah.
So you're probably familiar with signs of stress and anxiety building in your body. Aches and pains, chest pain, or a feeling like your heart is racing or your chest feels really tight. Maybe you can't fit all the air in that you need to breathe properly, or exhaustion or trouble sleeping. Headaches are a huge flag your body's waving at you. Dizziness or shaking, almost that feeling of having too much caffeine, only you haven't had too much caffeine.
Well, we both can relate to the dizziness to an extreme level. If you want to get into it.
That to me is the ultimate. That's when my body says, you said be quiet. I was quiet for a while. You said not now. I came back later. You said not your turn. Well, you know what, lady? It's my turn. Damn it. You will pay attention to me now. And then I get the vertigo and my world
Boom.
comes to a screeching halt. I'm crawling to the toilet because I think I might throw up, but I don't dare stand up at that point. That would make the whole world worse. And my body says, you will stop. You'll stop everything. You will stop it immediately. All plans are canceled. Pay attention.
Right. It's just like an attack on your entire system that says like, shut up and shut down. Ooh.
I had at one point in my past, this was a few years ago, gotten bad enough to the point where the vertigo took over my whole life. And then once I realized systemic change was needed, I still couldn't recover. I went through something called vestibular therapy, which is like physical therapy, but for your vestibular system. And it was months of appointments and learning how to not be dizzy, teaching my body again to remember what it was like to not be dizzy going through life.
It's awful.
It's horrible. So we never want that for you, listeners. We want you to heed the early warning signs. It's kind of like when you feel thirsty, it's too late. You're already dehydrated. You got to get ahead of it. It's kind of that way with these signs and symptoms. When you're experiencing them, the anxiety has already reached threshold.
Yeah, it's like too far gone. Let's prevent it.
Don't ignore anymore. Like when you start getting these early flags, make the needed changes.
You're having digestive issues as well. That's also a big one. A big symbol that you may not be digesting life. You may not be adjusting to change.
Muscle tension and jaw clenching and teeth grinding.
Oh, we know that one.
Other signs.
Yeah, stress. So,
how do we do this?
Let's get into the healthy stress coping mechanisms and tools to help you calm the body and mind on a consistent basis. These also can be used in high stress situations as well, but we definitely want to take that preventative approach.
Use these as needed in those moments. But also, we're going to get to this in a minute, we are suggesting scheduling them in. Calendar events with regularity as a proactive, stay on top of it, maintenance form of self-care.
Yeah, and we invite you to maybe pick a day of the week where you do a check-in with yourself. You take some time for yourself. You already are giving so much to other people, to your job, to your partner, to your kids. If you're a mother, like pick that time for you to do a little check-in. And I'll give you a quick tip with that my holistic nutritionist gave me. She said, set a timer though. Do your check-in, ask your body those questions, and then leave, like get out of it, take a walk and go do something else so that you're not caught in that feedback loop and that sort of obsessive, intrusive thoughts.
That's a good point. These healthy stress coping mechanisms we're giving you aren't big time consumptive things. Some of these might be a 60-second check-in. All right, so we're going to start with body scans and we're going to go into more detail about them. So we're going to cycle back around to body scans, but body scans can be done in a minute or less. And we're advocating at least once a week body scan. Have your mind check in with your physical self. Mm-hmm. Also, for these quick fixes, creative outlets or creative expressions, craft work, visualizations. You probably heard the technique of picture yourself in your favorite place. What do you hear? What does it feel like? Shockingly effective.
Oh, bonus tip. You can turn in your visualization into a manifestation. So you can start visualizing exactly what you want and giving gratitude for as if it's your current reality.
Love that for us. Writing, journaling, if you're into journaling, or just putting pen to paper. Put those thoughts down.
Literally write anything. It doesn't even need to be a specific thing. It doesn't need to be how your day went, or it could just be thoughts or random phrases or words. Just write.
That's so true. It could start as nothingness, as in, I heard writing on paper helps you when you're feeling really anxious. I'm not sure how this is going to help me, but I'm willing to give anything a try at this point. Like, this is what you might be writing on the paper. Like, I'm not sure where this is going, but I'm feeling anxious and I have no idea why. And then it will go somewhere. Trust me, it will go somewhere that you can't anticipate until that pen is moving across that paper.
Yeah, love it. Another one is participating in a hobby. We do have an entire episode dedicated to helping you find your new hobby. So check that out. And using a creative outlet. We love it. The two could be the same. Your hobby could be a creative outlet.
Valid point. Volunteering. Being the small cog in a big wheel. The cog's important, but the wheel is much larger and has a greater purpose than just the cog alone.
Definitely. And we talked a lot about perspective in last week's episode. And I think volunteering is a wonderful way to shift your perspective, make you feel a different way. You're not in your everyday routine and in your life. It's about other people or beings.
Meditating, having a meditation practice, or just a simple, quick 5-minute, 10-minute guided meditation to just bring your awareness to a different place. And then one that I really, really love is laughter.
Laughter can help us bring us back to our bodies during high stress moments and send us on our way feeling a little steadier.
Using these tools over time helps our brains and bodies develop resilience, our ability to accept change, and our ability to keep these micro stressors in perspective.
Right. Like, we want to acknowledge that micro stressors do add up, and we don't want to negate them or make those little micro stressors feel like they don't have significance or importance, because they definitely do. And that's why all of these tools are preventative, and it's an awesome way to get in front of them, because we're faced with micro stressors every single day. So no wonder we're high anxiety, we're high stressed. They're happening constantly. I love the idea of developing resilience. It really pairs well with this idea of surrendering to life. And I've been reading a lot about surrendering and the idea of peace not being everything's perfect. Peace is actually being able to be heart-centered and accepting of whatever is.
That was good, Kaylin.
Thanks.
You said that really well.
Thanks.
It's so hard to articulate those esoteric themes, but I really enjoyed that.
Oh, I'm glad. Yeah, I've been reading a lot about peace and really what it means. And I feel like it goes perfectly well with our imperfectionist society. It's like, let's embrace imperfections, but also like accept that life is crazy.
And we can still find a peaceful place for ourselves.
Yeah, not everything has to be going really well or perfect. It rarely is. So developing resilience is accepting change and keeping things in perspective, because when we go with the change, we experience less resistance, which is always good for our well-being. Means we're flowing, means we have more space, more capacity to feel good.
Well, that was a beautiful segue because you talked about increasing capacity. After periods of stress or grief or self-doubt or just that accumulation of the grind of daily life, our minds can benefit from a detox of sorts to create a mindset shift, clear some space for ourselves, and to help us feel reinvigorated to go back out there and take on life again.
Yeah, it's an exciting thing. Like, it's a good thing that we actually have tremendous power over our own mind. If we attend to it and care for it with intentionality, like we can start seeing beneficial results.
We promised you 5 simple tools that you can use. Here we go. Start your mental detox today. We said we'd swing back around to body scan. Tool number 1, conduct a body scan. This helps you build awareness and you have mindfulness over what is indeed going on. Sometimes we get really good at saying, shh, not now, come back later. So this is your once a week to say, okay, I have a minute. What is it?
We're also trained on how to administer body scans. If you guys are interested, we can definitely record one and upload one so that you can experience what that's like, and then either keep listening to it or coming back to it or teaching yourself how to do it. It's really awesome, and it enables you to really tap in and figure out what emotion is coming up and where am I holding it in the body, because it's somewhere in the body.
I would love for us to write one just for our listeners. DM us, email us, put it in a podcast review if you would be interested in us writing and recording one of those for you.
Okay, tool number 2, cultivate compassion and acceptance. So really, we talked about this, right? We talked about this earlier. Treat your mind. We also talked about this last week, how you would treat your friends. Use a third person language.
Did anybody try that this week? I find at this point, it goes hand in hand with the laughter, because I can't help but feel like a politician when, even in my own mind, I talk about myself in the third person. I'm like, who am I?
So distance self-talk. We love it. Check out last week's episode if you want to learn more about self-talk. This is going to help us cultivate compassion and acceptance.
Tool number 3, clear your mind by clearing your environment. Get organized. Put your phone on silent. Organize your desk. Just a clean desk space. Oh my gosh. Talk about a 2-minute quick fix. You just neaten those piles and get the desktop a little organized. All of a sudden, you're feeling on top of things for a minute.
Yeah.
Go outside. Have a little environment change.
Yep. We know that that's huge for your wellness and for stress. I mean, endless good things from going outside. Tool number 4, move through your emotions. So the big stress on move.
That's uppercase move.
Yes. So when you stretch before a meeting, you'll actually have a more relaxed and open mindset, which kind of really translates. Like, that makes a lot of sense to me. You know, you're flexible, you're open.
It completely supports our theme of mind-body connection. You physically stretched your body,
Mm-hmm.
it allowed you to have mental flexibility in the meeting.
When you dance, your brain sends you messages of joy and safety. Wow. How lovely is that?
Same with laughter. You know how fake laughter leads to real laughter?
Yes, there's we were looking up the different like wellness options on our honeymoon, and one of them was laughter yoga.
Laughter yoga, laughter therapy, love all that.
Tool number 5, when you sip water consistently throughout the day, the body and brain function better together and respectively, allowing an increased sense of calm and health. So this is a really interesting fact that we learned about when doing research for our hydration episode. So check that out to learn more things that should be brought to the public light that are weirdly not.
When we're planning the episode and we're giving these tools, we have the conversation. Does get hydrated count as a wellness tool for mind-body connection? And our conclusion, obviously, since it's our 5th tool, is yes, it does. And I've been continuing with my drink 1 16-ounce cup of water first thing before I do anything else to start the day. And I have yet to have a downside to it.
Basically, you'll learn in that episode that hydration is linked to mood. Very interesting. So check that out. Thank you for joining us for another week of wellness goodness. Before we wrap up today's episode, we want to start a new little thing, a soulful takeaway from the episode. So our soulful takeaway today is the key to shifting our mindset from checking off a list of well-being practices that we think we should be doing towards choosing ones we enjoy that also happen to be good for us. So out of the list of those tools and examples, pick what feels right for you.
Use liberally and as needed. Thank you so much for joining us again this week. Until next week, peace, love, and light.
Peace, love, and light.
The SoulFull of Wellness hosts are certified health and wellness coaches. This podcast is intended to inform and entertain listeners on their wellness journey. This podcast is meant to enhance, not replace, listeners' care from doctors, therapists, or other medical providers. So full of wellness.